Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk with Kasim. Real Talk with Kasim is designed to bring information and concerns of our community to the forefront. We here at Real Talk with Kasim, we respect the opinions and we value our guests. We value our leadership. We value the comments. We here at Real Talk with Kasim do not entertain gossip, nor do we entertain disrespect. We humbly ask that we all remain respectful towards one another at all times. We at Real Talk with Kasim aspire to inspire before we expire. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings, kings. Peace and blessings, queens. Welcome to Real Talk with Kasim.
Welcome to Real Talk with Kasim.
Let's push things forward.
Hey, the show that aspires to inspire before we expire.
Let's push things forward.
Wonderful, marvelous evening today. I'm excited. You know, we've been off for a minute. We took a hiatus to get some things right, and particularly in the background, but you had some some technical failures, but we got that all together. Look, man, I even shaved my beard. You know, my beard is shaved. You know, I'm excited. You know I don't shave my beard, but I shave it. I shaved it as a means of discipline. Well, with that being said, man, today is an honor to be here. First and foremost, we like to thank the creator of all energy, whom we call the all, the creator of all life forms. We thank the creator for allowing and blessing us with this precious gift. I honor the privilege to be able to live another day and to receive another evening. For this, we are truly grateful. If by chance anything that comes from up out of this platform, up out of the show that could be used as a programmatic thrust to lift you, me, us up out of our situations, we give all that credit to the creator. If by chance anything may get misconstrued or maybe an error, we apologize and it comes from us, for we don't understand that the creator makes no mistakes. With that being said, listen, this is how I'm going to do this intro today. The sister, the queen, doesn't have no idea that I'm even going to start off like this. And let me start off like this. And I'm going to play just a brief part of this. Let me go into this. She see it right now. Let me go into this real quick.
The leaves of brown came tumbling down. Remember that September in the rain. The sun went out just like a dying ember. That September in the rain. With every word of love I heard you whisper. The raindrops seem to play our sweet refrain. The spring is here, but for me it's still September. Lord, that September and the rain. The leaves of brown came tumbling down. Remember that September in the rain. The sun went out just like a dying ember. That September in the rain.
Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings, family. I need you all to help me bring to this screen the sister. We got her right before us. We got the sister, the queen here. I call her the extraordinaire, as well as a jazz singer. Queen, bring her. Listen, everyone, please help me bring to the platform. Please bring to the screen the queen, Joy F. Brown.
Wow.
I
Peace
really
and
wasn't
blessings,
expecting
sister.
that. Peace and blessings, King. I wasn't expecting that. I
At
was
all.
no, 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 no,
Sister,
no.
you have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I know
Wow,
we caught you off guard with that one,
you did. You really did. You
huh?
really, really did. Wow.
Wonderful. Sister, for those who may not know whom Sister Joy is, please tell us, who is Joy F. Brown?
Oh, wow. I'm just I'm a native of Newark, New Jersey. My parents are like most people our age, from the South who migrated north for better opportunities. And I'm just a girl from the bricks. I don't. There's not much to say about me that I don't think there's much to say about me. No.
All right, let me ask you this. Before we get into everything else, let's
Hmm.
talk about this jazz thing that we just showed.
Okay.
What got you into jazz, sister?
Um, I haven't been in the jazz world long. In terms of some people, there are some people that have been in jazz since they were children. I grew up Pentecostal. I'm the daughter of a preacher, so we weren't allowed. I'm an only child. I wasn't allowed to have secular music in the house. So I didn't even really know about jazz. And then I was listening to WBAI, if people remember that radio station. I think it's still around. And one of the activists that had a platform on WBAI played a song by Nina Simone
Hmm.
called Images. I recommend especially Black women listen to Images. It's so beautiful. Because it deals with displacement and how we don't know our true selves because we've been displaced. Um, and I fell in love with the eeriness and the beauty of her voice. And from that, it stemmed me listening to more, and I started listening to Duke Ellington. And then from there, I started listening to more instrumental, more vocals, and I fell in love with the art form. It's the only art form that was really created in the United States, and it was created by us, even though they're trying to take it from us now. So it's jazz is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's one of the most disciplined yet unruly art forms out there, and it speaks to who we are as a people because Black people know how to hold it together while being a little messy, and it still comes out beautiful. You know? Yeah.
And you sing wonderfully.
Thank you.
I myself I met the sister Joy, the Queen, at the bookstore in Newark, and I was amazed by the sister's intellect to the
Oh.
point where I said to the sister, "I have to have you on the show." I told her we have we have a broadcast thing that we do. It's called Real Talk with Kasim, and sister, she's like kind of shy. I sensed, and but she was so warm and open and receptive to, yeah, to coming on. And the sister was at work today, and she rushed home to get here to be on the show with us, and we appreciate that. We truly
Thank
appreciate that.
you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
I told the sister that I want to speak upon freedom, and we both said that it's a broad statement, but the sister said, "Bring it on." So I'm gonna speak and build to the sister about freedom. Let me ask you this, sister.
Mhm.
And the reason why I chose freedom is because of the freedom of expression in which you
Okay.
showed and displayed the day at the when I met you,
Okay.
and I was fascinated. And I said, "Your sister's intellect. I have to bring her on because the thinking is outside of the norm. It's outside of the box." As the elder sister to most of the sisters whom I'm around most of the time, and let me start off by asking you this:
Mhm.
what is freedom to you?
I thought about that after we talked. We if we look at liberation, which is freedom, um, as far as Black people, people of color in the United States and throughout the diaspora, Normally when we think of freedom, we think of a physical um, freeing. And I really wanted to, if you don't mind, I would like to deal with the true freedom, which is freedom of the soul, the
Come
mind,
on.
the spirit, you know, because I think that's why we as a people are in the shape we're in. They've taken the chains away from us. And we we equate that with freedom. And nothing could be further from the truth,
Mm.
you know. So I guess freedom for me is the ability to tap into one's God self and allow oneself to be God on earth. And that's not to negate that we have a creator, that there's a force that is greater than us, that has created us, but we have a piece of him in us. He planted a piece of us, a piece of himself in us. No matter what your belief system is, we all know that he created us in his likeness and image. And I think that's where bondage comes in, when we forget or we've been taught that he's not there or
Mm.
it's not there, or whatever pronoun you want to use. And so I think, and I can only speak for black folk because I'm black. I've been black all my life. So I can't speak for any other group of people. When I think of freedom, I think of mental and social and psychological liberation, because a lot, we talked about it today at the store. There's a lot of us who are suffering psychologically, because we have psychological restraints placed upon us. We can't be free because we're not allowed to be free. We have to worry about paying that bill. We have to worry about the job. We have to worry about if our children are going to make it home safe. We have so many things that weigh us down psychologically. We are unable to be free, you know?
Yeah. Do you feel that our psychological imbalance
Hmm.
plays a part in our embracement towards each other?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
And talk about that, because we talked about that day.
Yeah. We look at how we relate to one another. Um, because we've been taught to distrust each other. When I look at you, I see me. So to distrust you means I distrust myself. There's something in me that I'm not comfortable with. But that's because an oppressive force has taught us to distrust ourselves. And so you have that back and forth, that conflict going on. And you can't be free with conflict. I mean, unless that conflict is working towards freedom. And we know in this society, most of the conflict that we're faced with is not working towards our freedom. you know
So how would you equate
Mm.
the breath, our breathing, the breath with freedom?
Hmm. It's funny you say that. I'm reading a book by Dr. Raketi Amen. It's a tiny book. I think everybody should get it. It's a life-centered life living ma'at.
Show the book, show the face of the book if
Oh,
you may.
okay. Can you see it? I'm horrible I've never done a podcast before, so I don't.
Move it up a little, up a little. There you
Okay.
go. A life
Okay.
centered,
Yeah.
life living Maya. Okay,
Okay. And
gotcha.
there's a line in here. I was reading it on the train, and I said I'm gonna introduce this on the show tonight. There's one line that grabbed me, and she says that spirituality is about understanding oneself so that one can maintain harmony with nature and self.
Mm.
So you talk about the breath. The breath is the life form. It's the energy that flows in it between us, through us, in nature, in wilderness. It is God. It is the life. It is the life form. You know, when you look at meditation, a great part of meditation is breathing. intaking and exhaling. You know, when you look at physics, you look at chemistry, we bring in good air from the outdoors, from, you know, from the plants, and we release carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. I can't remember which it is, but we release that. There's a flow, there's a constant rhythm, and that's what happens with breathing. Once you stop that flow, you're gone.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
that life force is has left this body. We realize that we never stop living because energy never dies. But
Right.
I think that if we equate freedom to breathing, freedom is a constant movement. It's like water, it constantly flows. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
just like water, if water becomes stagnant, that's when it becomes unhealthy to ingest.
Mm. I'm
You
glad
know?
you said that. Now let me connect this dot to what it is you just said.
Okay.
Relationship.
Okay.
Most sisters
Mhm.
whom I've come in contact with, whom I smoke with, pertaining to relationships, because that's one of the topics we have in our upcoming shows.
Okay.
Um, is that a lot of them feel a need of dealing with older men instead of brothers or kings their age
Mhm.
because they say the maturity level isn't there. How do you see that?
Mm. I've dated older men. And there is a comfort level. I had my father in my life, so I don't have daddy issues.
Mhm.
Um, I think there are so many outside influences that are disrupting something that should be beautiful, that we don't know how to relate to one another. I'm in my 40s. Um, I looked at my parents growing up, and I looked at other people in their age group growing up. There was a different dynamic there. Um, and we understood that it wasn't sexism. But at the same time, we weren't letting an outside force tell us what a family unit was.
Right.
Um, there's so it's hard to pin down um what to say, because I understand if a sister is saying, okay, I want somebody who's more settled, you know, that's fine. But at the same time, I don't think it's fair to discount brothers in our generation and say that they don't meet the standards, because I don't think that's necessarily the truth. I think that we have to figure out how to meet each other in the middle of the road, and understand what we need from each other. You know, because that's going to be a problem if we're constantly dating older men, and then younger women are dating, you know, men our age, and it's going to leave something lacking.
You
Um,
know, right? Because I see, like, you know, what I've come into awareness of is that there's a lot of older queens that like younger kings, but then there's younger queens that like older kings. You know, it's like a, you know, and I'm like, wow, you know, it. Now, I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not
yeah,
saying that there's
yeah.
everything right with it. I'm just,
Mhm.
I just wanted to bring it to the opening when it comes to, and particularly with you, for you to give your perspective of it.
I
Yeah,
think the dating dynamic is changing. Um,
exactly.
when I was younger, when you met someone, you met them through someone. You met them through a friend. You met them through a relative. Um, I was talking about this with someone recently. There was a connection there. So you knew their family members, or you knew someone who knew their family members. Now people are doing online dating. They don't know anything about it. There's like a disconnect, you know? And I think a lot of times our checklist, I won't say it's unrealistic, but I think we're taking on a mentality that is not ours by nature.
So artificial, can
Uh,
we use that word? to a certain degree.
It's not artificial to other groups, but it's
Right.
artificial to us. It's foreign
Us.
to us,
Right.
you know. Um, so it's just I think for that reason we're buying into this whole pie in the sky um concept, which kind of baffles me because it just leaves you feeling empty when it doesn't work out.
Mm.
um I mean, even with relationships, people back in the day, you wonder, oh, why is he still with her, or why is she still with him? They understood the value, and I'm not talking about abusive relationships or anything
Right.
like that, but they understood the value in making it work. That's another thing that we don't do. I won't say as a whole. I can't paint with a broad brush, but that's another thing that we don't do as much anymore. Um, and that's why and I bring it back to freedom. I think that when we get back in contact with our true self, and we understand what true freedom is from not a religious standpoint but a spiritual standpoint, I
Right.
think we'll be able to understand each other better, because
Eh,
we'll understand the God construct in each other. Brothers will understand, okay, the sister is a nurturer. She has the creative force in her. We give birth. We'll understand that you are the provider and the protector. You hold that attribute of God in you, and so we won't look at it as a weakness or a strength, but we'll look at it as a combined force coming together to make a whole
Right.
unit. And I
Right.
think that there's freedom in that because, like I said, there's a flow. There's a flow that goes with that. When we learn the yin and the yang, if you notice, it's a continuous thing,
Right.
you know. And I think that it's about the flow. Freedom is about the flow.
Freedom is the flow.
There you go.
Right. Sister, why do you feel
Hmm.
that society has now placed more, and particularly within, let's say, the last 4 to 5 years,
Hmm.
there has been more of a restraint of censorship put on us than ever before? Do you feel it's because of our awakening?
Um, I think we've always been censored. Let's be honest,
Right.
because many of our great leaders were killed.
Right.
They didn't die peacefully. They were killed. They were forced into exile. So I think we as a people have always been censored. I think the rest of the population is feeling the brunt of it now.
Mm.
You know, um, but it's almost one of those things, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's one of those things where, okay, I can't just target you because it'll look unfair, so I have to target everyone in the room so that I can get you know
Got you.
um and it's kind of scary because many of our leaders are afraid. You're not going to hear people speaking like Malcolm X
Right.
or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You're not going to hear the James Baldwins anymore because people are really so afraid of being, what is it called, canceled, this cancel
Mm.
culture.
Mm.
And then again, it goes back to freedom because we have allowed ourselves. Did I lose you?
Not at all. I just wanted to focus on you.
Oh, okay, no, you don't have to do that. We've allowed ourselves to be confined. They gave us a box and we decided, okay, we like this box. You know, we seek the validation of people that came after us. We're the first ones to inhabit this planet, and yet we seek the validation of our grandchildren. And that always baffles me. It always blows my mind, you know. And again, that goes to freedom because we are not truly free. We are not. we're not psychologically and spiritually free yet.
Do you feel that we will ever be? Or do you feel that some of us are? Or
Oh, we're
we
getting
can't?
there.
Okay.
I'm seeing a surge, and this is coming from a preacher's kid. Um, and I have to say this about my father. To me, my father was God in flesh,
Hmm.
because he was not a conventional preacher. In fact, when I started studying Ma'at, the principles of Ma'at and ancient Kemetic science, I saw that a lot of things he taught me that seemed to be anti-Bible were actually from old texts. And
Hmm.
this is a man who had never been to school a day in his life, so I know he wasn't
Uh,
studying Kemetic law. Something had to be transferred to him either from another life, from the ancestors. You know what I mean? Um, but I think that there is a surge. You're finding more and more brothers and sisters that are realizing what has been given to us as spirituality and oh, this is God, this is the truth. We're starting to realize it's BS, and I think that there is a leading from the creator. I think that there is I think the God in us is starting to bloom,
hmm.
and we're realizing, okay, this ain't it. I think there's an internal call that's bringing us back to our true selves, bringing us back to the us that created the pyramids.
Hmm.
The us that was in tune with nature and in tune with the creator. We understood. I hate to use the word God, but that's the term we use in English. We understood this force. We understood it, and somebody convinced us that we didn't understand it and gave us a bastardized form of what we knew. And a lot of us are starting to understand, wait a minute, this ain't it, you know? And so it encourages me, especially working in the bookstore. I'm seeing more people come in and looking for books on spirituality. They're
Hmm.
looking for books on Yoruba, on Santeria. They're looking for books on Kemetic science. They're searching for the intangible. And it makes me happy because economically they'll always try to stifle us.
Right.
Physically, they'll always try to stifle. We saw that with the Rockefeller law, crack cocaine versus powder
Hmm.
cocaine,
Right.
the industrial prison complex.
Right.
We see what they do. They pass legislation for every piece of legislation we think we've won. They pass three or four other pieces, that are going to make
Mhm.
sure we still
I mean,
stay captive.
right.
So I'm happy that we're looking into maintaining a freedom that they can't touch. You see what I'm saying? The
Mm.
tangible, intangible. They can't
Right.
touch the soul. And a lot of people are tapping into that. And I
Right.
and I believe that that's where freedom comes, because once we connect as a people to our creative force and to this earth that we're on and to one another, there's nothing that's going to be able to stop us.
That's right.
Nothing.
Right. Brother Butch, the king says, freedom is a false sense of hope.
Hmm. It depends on if he's talking about the freedom that they've convinced us is the
Right. Right.
definition of freedom, I can understand where he's coming from. But true freedom, there's nothing false about freedom. Not from a true, realistic, spiritual standpoint.
Right.
But I
Because
mean, if we look at Webster's dictionary, I see what he's talking about.
right. The Queen A. Marie, peace and blessings, Queen, says freedom comes in relation to our true self. This
Yes,
is a fact.
that's right.
This
That's
is a
right.
fact.
That's right.
How important is it for that you feel the need for us to read?
Oh my gosh. Well, we talked about that.
Right.
I mean, we're the first architects of the alphabet. We're the first ones to communicate with writing. With reading. They can't find scripts older than our scripts. It's extremely important, especially when you realize after reading the books from Dr. John Henrik Clark, Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Diop, Sheikh Anta Diop, Dr. Ben, Asa Hilliard, and George Johnson. Is it George G. Jackson? Yeah.
George G. Jackson, yes.
You see that there's so much misinformation that has been given to us because they were writing it. When we write our own story, we can tell it the way it should be told.
That's right.
So reading and writing go hand in hand.
Which is a necessity.
Definitely. The oral tradition is a beautiful thing. We'll never negate that.
Right.
But I'm so glad that somebody wrote down hieroglyphs.
Right.
I'm glad that someone saw fit to take the papyrus plant and make paper and say, okay, we need to record this.
Right.
Because if it wasn't for that, they would still be able to paint Egypt white or Kemet white.
Right. And they're still trying to do that.
Oh my gosh, of course.
To make sure that we don't have nowhere to go back to, right?
That's right.
Right.
But they can't take it. It's in our DNA.
It's all over. It's even within theirs.
Yeah,
our existence is inside their DNA as well.
We're their grandparents.
Exactly. Sister, how do you feel? This is not to knock anyone at all. We don't knock anyone.
Information is free. It's what you do with it that costs. Read, study, and research. Peace.
How do you feel about the mandation of vaccine?
I don't want you to be censored.
Because it's a big thing going on with this.
Because of our history with medicine in this country, and I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for years, I understand the nature of the beast. To mandate that I put something foreign in my body, to me, is a human oppression. You're really violating my human liberties. You know what I mean? You're asking me, if we look at this, you're asking me to bring a stranger that I don't know into my home and abide there. I don't know his background. I don't know if he has mental issues. I'm just using this as an example. And being honest, you've never been a good neighbor to me. You've always done me wrong. So why? And then you're going to tell me that I have to let him stay here? I've questioned this for a while, because even the nature of it, vaccines up until now basically had a little bit of the virus. And then what would happen is the natural antibodies in the body would build up a resistance to that virus. That's what a vaccine normally is. This isn't even the actual virus. They're using mRNA. This is something artificial. So to demand that I put something in my body, number one, you haven't even properly tested. I think they started using it on humans before they even used it on animals.
Right.
If I stand corrected, but there are too many unanswered questions, and I'm looking at it because there are too many people in high places making a lot of, and a substantial amount of profit from this. And then again, and it goes back to freedom, because we feel bound. I was on my way home on the bus in Brooklyn, and there were two sisters, and they were heartbroken. One was forced to take the vaccine to keep her job. The second had, I think, 2 days to decide whether she wanted to take the vaccine, or she was going to be forced into what do they call it? Leave without pay for 6 months. And you know, the sister who was forced to take it, she said that her mom had passed away at, like, I think a week after taking the vaccine. But she said, how do I pay my rent? And this goes back to the psychological and social economic issues that we face as a people, because there's not a lot of entrepreneurship. We've been forced to think that we have to, so the only way we can survive is by
Depend on them.
getting
Right.
a paycheck from this
Right.
oppressive force,
Right.
you know. And we fail to realize without the workers there is no boss, you know.
Mm.
But I have issues with that. How do you mandate something like that? You mandate that I tamper with my body?
And the reason why I asked you this is because like it's on a daily, like every day I'm hearing this from someone
Hmm.
who's reaching out to me, whether it's via my phone, text,
Hmm.
or email. Like, I need your help, brother. I don't. Next month they talking about mandating it on my job, or so I'm gonna lose my job.
To me, it's an ethical issue.
Right.
You know, you can't force me to me, that's a form of rape. And I know
Eh,
I'm being probably over the edge by saying that, but you're forcing something in me that I don't want.
Right. Because my thing is this, sister. If you feel that you want to take it, you have every right to. We don't get on the show and say,
Exactly.
nah, don't take it up. We don't do that.
Yeah.
It's your right. You know what I
But
mean? Like you said, it's your human liberty. You have a right to make this choice.
but you
God
also
gave us
have the
the
right to
choice.
say no.
Right, exactly. So if you do it, that's so be it. I'm not knocking that at all. By
Mm,
no means am I knocking that. That's your choice. You have a right to put Motrin in your body, or you could use Advil. It's
that's
your
right.
choice.
That's
It's your
right.
choice. But I really feel some kind of way when they make it imperative. You can't go nowhere in New York. You can't get in no restaurants
That's
unless
right.
they're on the outside without having a vaccine card.
You
So you
know,
have to be bad, sister.
what the plus side of that is, and I guess I'm being old school. Maybe it'll force black folk to eat at home
In
and
the eat
enjoy
right.
each other's company again. You
Once again.
know, maybe it'll
Right.
force us to go in that kitchen and cook a meal where we know what's going in the pot. Because when you eat out, you don't know what's going in that.
Right.
You don't know what you're eating.
Right.
You're eating by the grace of the Creator. So
Right.
maybe this is a good thing. Maybe a lot more people will save some dough, by having to eat at home.
Right. But
You know,
I'm so struck with this of how people in political positions are able to tell somebody you have to take this.
we allow them.
Our oppressors,
Yeah,
those who created vaccines to rid of us of our existence, is the same people who's telling us now that we have to take it.
but I became well. I haven't taken it. I'm not saying I'm an anti-vaxxer, but this is my body. I do what I want with my body.
Right.
Um, but I felt that things were a little sketchy when they were offering people marijuana to take the shot.
And money.
Fried chicken to take, and I thought that was so demeaning.
Yeah,
To
right.
yeah, to take the shot. To me, my antennas would have went up at that point and said, "Wait a minute, wait a minute. You're bribing me to put this in my body? Like there's something wrong with that picture." I have never known this nation to be all that concerned with our health and well-being.
Right.
If that was the case, we would have more community centers in urban communities than liquor stores.
Right. Right.
You know,
Mm.
so it's not a matter of them really caring about the health of its citizens. We realize that we're cannon fodder.
Right.
You know,
Sister, we
so,
don't
so
have no cure for cancer.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
people all around us dying every day. There's people that's doing bad off of cancer. You think the country would have came up with a vaccine or something as fast as they did for this COVID thing?
Yeah.
I think they would came up with something for those who have cancer, for those who are dealing with diabetes, for those who are.
Well,
Come
you
on,
know what? The the sad part is, as far as cancer, diabetes, a lot of these illnesses are caused by the foods that they're
who we
feeding.
eat.
A lot of these foods, vegetables and all, they're GMO based food. They're not real. If when you think about it, I'm pretty sure we're around the same age. I remember eating a tomato when I was a little girl, and sometimes the tomato was so sweet and
Yeah,
juicy,
remember that?
you would have to add salt and pepper to it
Remember
to balance it out.
that?
I remember biting into a tomato and the juice running down my arm. And I had forgotten how good tomatoes taste until I had to go to Italy. And I
Mm,
tasted what non-GMO tomatoes taste like again. And it took me back to my childhood. So a
wow.
lot of the foods we're eating are no good for us. Even women, black women suffer at an alarming rate from fibroid tumors. And a lot of it is because of a high level of estrogen. It's a lot because we're eating, and I'm not telling you become vegan. I'm not anti meat. I'm not that person. But a lot of the things that they're feeding these animals with are going into our bodies. And then we wonder why our kids act the way they do.
Right. Always
It's
said that.
because of what's going on. And this is not just a black issue. This is across the board,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
You
So
know when I knew something was wrong too, sister, with our food is when you I'm gonna get the information. I'm gonna get the stats and I'm gonna put it up on the show on the show as soon as I get it.
mm,
Is that a lot of the foods that we eat here are banned in other countries.
yes.
Banned.
Yes.
It's forbidden to even come into their country with.
Let me tell you, I had stopped eating red meat and pork for 25 years. I went to Italy and I ate a piece of veal because it looked so good. And they had just slaughtered it. They had the farm. It was the neighbor's, little calf. And I said, I'm gonna try it. I said, I'm gonna get sick because it smelled so good cooking.
Mm.
I said, I'm gonna get sick, but I'm gonna try some of this veal. I ate the veal, no sickness, no side effects,
Wow.
nothing. And it shocked me.
Mm.
I went to the Bahamas. This was years ago. And when I ate dairy products over here, I would get bloated. You would feel this
Mm.
feeling of bloatedness. And they had a thing called guava duff, and it looked so good. And it was like a cream based dessert with guava. And I said, I'm gonna try it. Oh well, I'll be stuck in my hotel room, but I'm gonna try it. Tried it, no side effects.
Mm. Mm.
So
Mm.
what does that tell you?
Mm.
What
Mm.
does that tell you?
Food that we things that they put in it.
Yeah, what we're consuming, and it's no wonder that even from a spiritual standpoint, it's no wonder that we're clogged and we can't, that third eye just won't open the way we want it to because there's so many contaminants, and it's by design. It's not by
Right.
mistake.
Right. Right.
You know, there's so many contaminants that it's almost like, okay, you feel that beam, like, okay, I'm connecting, and they find a way to make sure that that connection is blocked before
Blocked.
it gets where it's supposed to get. And I say that because they know our abilities better than we know them.
Mm.
They know our powers more than we know them. you know they know what we are capable of doing as a people more than we do, and better than we do. And so they're fully vested in making sure we never reach that potential. And that's why it makes me happy when I see brothers and especially couples come in and they're reaching for something spiritually. you know
Mm.
I think it's a beautiful thing.
The Queen, A. Marie says, they took care of the third eye with fluoride.
Yes, and that's why I use baking soda. I brush my teeth with baking soda. I
Mhm.
haven't used toothpaste in I don't know how long. And
Right.
it's funny that she says that. I went to the dentist. Um, they said nothing was wrong with the enamel on my teeth. Nothing was wrong, right? I have a chipped tooth, of course, because I like to chew ice. I'm trying to get away from that. And she said, "Oh, what do you brush your teeth with?" I said, "I just use plain baking soda," which is something I get from my elders, my ancestors. That's what they used to do, use baking soda. And she said, "Okay, I'm gonna give you a fluoride-based toothpaste." Not because there was something wrong with the enamel, nothing like that. My teeth are in good shape. But she wanted to give me that. And I'm thinking to myself, why do I need to use fluoride? They have fluoride in the water,
Right.
and too much fluoride, if I'm not mistaken, I think it helps to calcify the pineal gland.
Right. Right. That's a fact.
So it's by design. It's by design. That pineal gland is key. It's essential. And that's connecting with our God self,
That's right. That's right.
you know?
Sister, as I said, it's amazing. Amazing. Amazing.
To Real Talk
Wow.
with Cassette.
Let's push things forward.
The show that aspires to inspire before we expire.
Let's push things forward.
If you're just tuning in to Real Talk with Kasim, welcome. As we are on our way out, before we go out, I'm gonna let you know we have the Queen with us, the Queen Joy F. Brown, jazz singer extraordinaire. This Queen she's the Queen,
Oh,
and we thank you for coming on. But in our conclusion, on our way out, is another question that I have to ask you. And
okay.
in fact, before we even do it, it has to go. Sister, 3 words
Yes.
that I have to give you. This is welcome to word embracement. We're going to give you 3 words. And you just tell us whatever comes to your mind, whatever comes to your psyche about these 3 words, you just give it to us.
Okay. Okay.
Not Joy Brown, but joy.
Okay.
That's your word, joy.
Joy? Oh wow. The word joy. And it's my name, so I don't know why I'm staggering with this one. Joy to me goes deeper than surface contentment, surface happiness. Joy goes somewhere that can't be touched. Joy comes from the heavens and it springs forth. Joy cannot be quenched. It cannot be put out. It's like a light, you know. I remember I was looking at Heteru, and her, part of her, she does dance and music, and it goes along with joy. Connecting that with our people, especially with Heteru, that principle of the creator. We have been a people that no matter what has been thrown at us, slavery, economic distress, the industrial prison complex, racism, any kind of ism, schism, everything that's been thrown at us, we have still been able to maintain our joy. They gave us the projects in the hood and empty lots and abandoned buildings. And what we did was we set up a couple of turntables in that empty lot and messed up our mom and dad's old records and created hip hop. That's a form of joy.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I remember we couldn't really afford to buy jump ropes. We weren't fancy like that. The cable guy came and we were so glad when somebody got cable. We would beg them for some of that wire. And we created an art form called double dutch.
That's right.
That's joy. You know, we were able to take and I remember when oxtails was cheap. That was
Mm.
something you
Talk
cooked
about
because
it.
it was one
Talk
of the
about it,
cheaper
sister.
things, you know. We were able to take the tail of the ox, not the prime cut, and now it's a delicacy.
Ain't that something?
Joy. You know, so we as a people, we have that and it's part of that God self. That is something in us that you can never quench, no matter what you do to us. We still maintain that joy. And it comes through dancing. It comes through music. It comes through our cuisine. It comes through in our way of living. Why do you think gentrification happens? We have some of the most rundown neighborhoods, but they still want to live with us
Mm.
because there's
Mm.
something about us that is exuberant. It's like joy springing forth. We flourish in the desert. You know, you pave us over with concrete, we're gonna bust through. You're gonna see some leaves come through.
That's right.
To me, that's what joy is. That's who we are as a people. You don't have to make us happy, and we may not have a lot, but we gonna be all right.
That's right.
You know.
My mother's famous quote, and she's known for this. And
Uh,
she says, "If it ain't all right, it's gonna be all
I
right."
know that's right.
Second word,
Uh-huh.
ma'at.
Ma'at. That is the balance. That is what we all strive to achieve. I think it was Dr. Ivan Van Sertima who talked about ma'at. And in ancient Kemet, like we look at it now as a principle in laws, but I think it's because we have been so conditioned by this oppressive system to think everything is about laws. But he goes into saying ma'at was a way of life. It wasn't a list of laws. It was something that you aspired to become because you knew you were your true self. It wasn't about, okay, I did this today, I did that, I did that, I did that. It was about becoming the best self, the
Mm.
best God on earth that you could be. To me, that's what ma'at is. Using
Mm.
that pineal gland, using the other, I think they said we use 10% of our brain, using that other 90% that's still
Mm.
around, you know? And having that energy flow. Could you imagine if everybody practiced ma'at the way it's supposed to be? Not even practice it. If we lived ma'at, could you imagine that? Do you know how wonderful this world would be? If we lived in that discipline, if we went to sleep in ma'at, if we woke up in ma'at, if in our subconscious, when we rested at night, we lived in ma'at, in our subconscious. You know, yes, strive to achieve ma'at. That's right. You know, so it's a powerful thing. Ma'at is I don't ma'at is a ugh. I, I don't I get it's like I'm kind of speechless when it comes to ma'at, even though I've said quite a bit, but I'm kind of speechless when it comes to that. That's like the true self as it should be.
Mm. Last word, love.
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 What is love? And I guess I shouldn't leave it with a question, right?
You
But
you
what is it?
can,
You know,
you
what is
can,
love? Because
because love is the.
they define it as flowers. They define it as I do nice things for you. They define it as so many things. But what is love? Is it a feeling? Is it an emotion? Is it something tangible? Is it something intangible? Is it God? Is the creator love? What is love? Do we know what love is? Have we achieved love?
Mm. I hold my hands up. I hold my hands up to that, Queen. Sister, I wanted to say, sister, hold up. We got let me go into this, because when people when kings and queens take the initiative to write in comments, I like to show them.
Okay.
The brother to God, Jay Patterson, aka Jaheim, says the highest elevation between a man and woman. Okay. Everybody have what it is that they feel
Okay.
is necessary.
Okay.
Queen, I would love to thank you.
Oh, thank you for
allowing.
having me. And
It's
to
a
all of
blessing.
the kings and queens out there who joined in and sent energy and light our way, thank you from the bottom of my being. Thank you.
But before we go, sister, I have to bring it back.
Oh my gosh. No.
Bring it back.
With every word of love, I heard you whisper. The raindrops seem to play our sweet refrain. The spring is here, but for me it's gonna be September. Yes, that's September. And
to the kings and queens, can y'all hear this? I want to know, can y'all hear the audio? Somebody let me know if you can hear the audio.
September in the rain. With every word of love, I heard you whisper. The raindrops seem to play our sweet refrain.
Go ahead, sister.
The spring is here, but for me it's gonna be September. Lord, that September in the rain, that September, in that September, oh, that September in the rain.
Wonderful job, sister.
That was done in Holland, in a town called Den Haag, 45 minutes from Amsterdam.
See that, sister? Travel the world. Sister's traveling the world.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
The sister Shalane, my cousin Shalane, the queen, says absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much, sis.
The brother, the king, says great, brother Jaheim.
Thank you.
The brother Jamie Dan, the Peace King, says she doing it. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Oh my
Hey,
God.
Marie said that September.
He
says peace to the queen, much appreciated.
Oh, thank you so much,
sister. Like we said, it's been an honor. privilege, a
Same
pleasure
here.
having you
Same
on the show. And we will be looking forward to bringing you back on.
Yes,
There's,
yes, yes.
there's another sister who actually the Queen A. Marie. She does, and we supposed to done it, but I had to take a hiatus from the show for a minute to get some things together, even with myself. And she's in charge of what we do a breath challenge
Oh,
where
nice.
we do we practice breathing properly. Sometime we did 7 days, we did a 30-day, but we're gonna go on a 7-day one. We're gonna go on a 7-day one because we have new participants. So we're gonna do on something 7 because sometimes when you think of a number 30, for some people's mind state is far-fetched. So we're gonna do a nice 7-day one. And
Well, please let me know. Give me the information about it.
definitely, but I'm bringing her up because I'm gonna have a panel discussion about a woman's queendom, your queendom.
Ah,
We're gonna bring some sisters on, about four or five sisters on, and I would like for you to come on and participate with Sister A. Marie.
I
We'll
would
make
love
sure that
to.
everybody's schedule can come together, and we'll make it happen. But we're definitely looking forward to having you back on. It's been you have blessed us,
Oh, you've been a
blessed us.
me as well. Thank you so much. And thank you again to everyone. You feel the positive energy. So I thank everyone who tuned in.
Yes, sister. Yes, for everyone that's listening now, we thank the sister and everyone in the replay. I'm asking everyone to go to YouTube, and I want you to look up Joy F. Brown.
Oh,
You put in
gosh.
you put in jazz singer and just listen to her music and listen to the vibe of how. See, we're not dealing with synthetic sound; them is live instruments,
Right.
and the tone in which she delivers. See, we dealing with octave music. Octave is what resonates with inside of us.
That's
Now,
right.
synthetic music is what makes us go crazy, but
Yeah.
the octave music brings about a balance within us. So I want you to see how this sister's tone, her frequency, is indulged with inside the octave of the instrument.
Oh,
You have to
thank
see the
you.
sister, the vibe, the tones. Like Sister Anne Marie says, it's wonderful. And we're not saying it just because you're here, because you didn't have no idea that I was going to research. Look
No.
that up and play it. You had no idea. And it was
No.
wonderful. Sister, you have been a blessing to us, and I will stay in contact with you.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you so much. So
Thank
much for
you.
coming in. Now, sister, somewhere, this is where I'm gonna leave off at
Uh-huh.
with you. Somewhere there's a sister,
Mhm.
there's a brother who feel like life is too hard for them
Mm.
and they feel like giving up. What do you have to say to them? What
Live.
would you want to leave them with?
Live. Live. You are life. You are life. I talked to a young sister about that. The true African does not believe in death. We never die.
Mm,
We're
mm,
energy that just transfers to another place. We never die.
mm.
Live. 'Cause
Death
that's
don't
all
even
you can
exist.
do. We are life.
Mm. Wow. Pleasure. Honor, sister.
Here.
I give you what we call a 2-finger peace salute to the queen.
I give you 10. Ah.
Sister, it's been a joy. It's
Oh,
been a
thank
joy,
you.
Sister Joy. It's been a joy.
Here.
Yes.
Here.
And we will be reaching back out to you. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Peace, light, love, and liberation, Queen.
Back to you, King. Take care.
You as well.
Good night, everyone.
Peace and blessings to everyone for just tuning in.
Respect, love, honesty, admiration, and upliftment is needed at all times. Peace, light, and love.
Peace and blessings to you all. We just had the blessing, the privilege, the honor to have with us at Real Talk with Kasim, the Queen Joy F. Brown. I'm asking everyone to go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and type that name in, Joy F. Brown, and put jazz singer. and watch the sister come up, and you will be blessed. You'll be blessed with her presence on the screen, as well as the melody and a heavenly vibe that comes from her without that sister's vocal cords. I want you all to do that. And I also want to keep everyone reminded that this pandemic still exists. This coronavirus is serious. I humbly and respectfully ask you all to, when you are in the company of others, please wear your mask. Please practice the social distancing. Just because you have people in political positions that tell you it's all right to not wear a mask, I'm telling you that is not true. Make it your business to stay safe and to keep those who you come into contact with even safer. Also, it is imperative that we practice every morning you get up during the course of the day is to breathe. Breathing itself intensifies your immune system. It helps with your heartbeat. Everything. Your breath is your life. So I humbly and respectfully ask everyone to do something which is so freely given to us, which is the day, every day that we exist on this plane, on this level, in this form of existence, on what we call this earth. It is imperative that you take the time out to breathe. The Creator gave us breath. If the Creator instilled within us breath, it is imperative that we at least take seconds. Seconds. I'm not saying minutes. I'm not saying hours, and I'm not saying days. Seconds. Just breathe. Just to breathe. If you want to give back to the Creator, that's one of the forms in which, in one of the many ways in which you can give back. And I can guarantee you the blessings that you will receive from breathing properly will be the blessing that you have and you were given this day, which is life. And like the Queen said, as an African people, do not believe in death. So life will always exist. This is why it's important that you leave a legacy by doing what's right. When you do right for you, you do right for your people. And never leave no one behind. Always reach back and try to bring someone where you at. Or to bring them where you at and then use your shoulders. They may stand upon them. Remember, everyone, like we say, please be safe. And remember, Real Talk with Kasim comes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 9 p.m. From 8 to 9 p.m. And we're going to end up canceling out a day so that way we can bring more information. Because what we come to the realization is that if we have a lot of numerous speakers coming on, it doesn't give one the ability to want to go in and research some stuff that they were given and write down and take some notes. So we're going to make it one day a week. We're just trying to figure out what's the best day. It's going to be either Tuesday or Thursday. So that way, if we do it Tuesday, then you got from that Tuesday, that means you got from Wednesday all the way to next Tuesday to study something and come back in the comments and let's talk about what the information that was given on the show. Because remember, the information is free. It's what you do with it that costs. Peace, light, love, and liberation to you all. And also, I have to do this. Out in Newark, New Jersey, they have a radio station by brother Altariq Hannes called A Squad Rebel Radio. The brothers gave us a nice tune. It's a tune that we utilize every day in our conclusion of the show. It's just a fun way to get you up, motivated to be able to wash your hands. Washing hands is a necessity. You can't wash your face without washing your hands first, right? So it's mandatory that you do that. And it's just a fun way. And we come to the realization that there's a lot of folk that like this. So we do it just a way to make you happy on the way out. And it goes like this.
1, 2,
3. Wash your hands. It just takes 20 seconds. Wash your hands. It's for your own protection. No exceptions, no objections. You'll make such a nice impression. No infection. Wash your hands, and you're done. Scrub it up, dub, 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 and you're done. Scrub it up, dub, dub, dub. Now you're done. Scrub it up, dub, dub, dub. All done. Scrub it up, scrub it up. All my people say, scrub it up, dub, dub, dub. To the left, scrub it up, dub, dub, dub. To the right, scrub it up, dub, dub, dub. Okay, scrub it up one more time. Wash your hands, your hands. It just takes 20 seconds. Wash your hands, your hands. It's for your own protection. No exceptions, no objections. You'll make such a nice impression. No infection if you only wash your hands. And you're done.
Peace, light, love, and liberation to you all. Stay safe. And we're looking forward, if the Creator allows, to seeing you again Thursday. Peace, light, love, and liberation to you.